Welcome to Astral Visionary Ones. The Chosen One couldn't believe his eyes when he saw you, because your appearance erupted with power, upending all of his plans. Your power resonates at a level he could never have imagined. He believed you were weak. Perhaps he believed you were an easy target. But at that point, he knew you weren't an ordinary person. Your fire and resolve erupted like a storm, devastating his universe. Now all he can see is loss and his limits. When you appeared on stage, everyone understood nothing would ever be the same again. This conflict is going in your favor because you are more than simply a chosen one. You are a force that alters the path of fate. Change the course of history in your favor by typing 77 in the comment section so that no one can stand in your way. They attempted to solve the enigma of your essence, seeking to capture what was beyond their reach. They attempted to analyze and control a power that defied all understanding except the truth. Your one-of-a-kind energy repelled their encroachment with unwavering determination. It shattered their systems and dispelled their illusions. Their efforts to examine you were useless. Their processes failed in the face of your sovereign authority. You are not limited by their structures, and your presence defies their assumptions. While they sought to impose their frames, you stood out as an immeasurable presence, a repeatable power that challenges the foundation of their narrow thinking. They directed their dominion instruments toward the infinite, only to be met with the unfathomable nothingness of their own inadequacy. Their technologies designed to alter and control obedient minds collapsed beneath the weight of your presence. Their structures, once successful against the flexible, were obsolete in the face of your unbreakable essence. Your limitless energy made their measuring and predictive gadgets ineffective. They were unable to get the desired readings. Their data is twisted and meaningless. You are not the outlier they claimed you to be. You are proof of their limits. Where they sought for control, they discovered pandemonium. Where they wanted power, they encountered something much beyond their grasp. Their attempts to classify and influence were thwarted by the incontrovertible reality. You operate beyond their systems and beyond their grasp. You are the manifestation of a reality that cannot be controlled or defined by their limited resources. You are the pulse that travels through the unseen, a power that transcends their corporeal world. While their inventions are based on strict logic and calculated patterns, you represent the dynamic flux of creativity itself. Their technology failed not because of weaknesses, but because it was never intended to face something so vast. Your frequency does not disrupt their systems. It shows their limits. Their attempt at control was useless because you cannot be confined into their frail thinking. Their attempts to categorize and quantify you went apart when they encountered an energy that is not limited to their world. Their constructions, created by finite brains, could not hold what is boundless. Their tools crumbled not because they were weak, but because you live in a world where their creations have no power. The instruments they use to watch, modify, and restrict are nothing more than chains from an old system. Mechanisms of control designed for the unknowing. However, in the face of a power like yours, these gadgets unravel, and their efforts to imprison your essence with technology always fail. Your unique energy resonates beyond their grasp, echoing with a freedom that structures cannot comprehend. You aren't only elusive. You are the interruption to the order they want to impose. This is not a war of physical power, but rather an invisible clash of energies, a conflict between control systems and the unshakable core of freedom. Their structures are based on subjugation, but your very existence dismantles their goal. Their machines, which are designed to dominate, are incapable of digesting a spirit that exists outside of their limited perspective. If you are experiencing an excess of divine love in your heart, now is the moment to share it. You may help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and donating $20 or more. This wonderful gift will affect not just your life, but the souls of countless others via this platform. Each of you has a special role in God's big plan, and your giving will be the result of our prayers. Act now. Share your benefits to honor His kingdom. You were meant to do much bigger things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. The buildings they designed to mold and suppress crumble beneath the weight of your existence. Their calculations fail, their algorithms deviate, and their machines produce nothing but chaos. When faced with the unwelcome, viable nature of your existence, they call you a malfunction or a deviation, despite the fact that you are a live proof to their approaches and inadequacies. You're not influenced by their systems. You annihilate them where they sought control. They encountered resistance where they expected compliance. They confronted an uncontrolled power. Their dependence on rigid structures and sequential programming is no match for the expansive energy you represent. Each encounter with your essence reveals their mechanism as frail remnants of a restricted worldview. Imagine a flying eagle with its wings spread wide, easily floating above the storm. The winds may cause rain to fall, yet the eagle remains unaffected. It soars higher, unaffected by the mayhem underneath, propelled by an unseen river of heavenly might. That is the essence of your energy, exalted, unshaken, and unattainable by the means of this world. No storm, machine, or force anchored to the earth can reach what flies in the sky. Your energy works on an aircraft. Their technologies are never accessible. Their instruments are bound by the limitations of their makers, designed to work under the constraints of material comprehension. You, however, are not restricted. You exist as a dynamic, ever-changing energy that flows with the core of creation itself. Their systems fail not due to flaws, but because they were never intended to handle anything that large. Their devices' failures are not due to flaws in their design. It reveals their inadequacies. They attempted to limit the intangible, but your energy lives beyond form, logic, and their grasp. The vibrations you carry are not just defensive. They are transforming. You are not immune to their systems. You are the deconstructing power that exposes their weakness. The constructions they've made, based on predictability and control, can't resist the sheer resonance of your being. Their structures fall because they are fragile in the face of something so real and vast. You don't just oppose their attempts. You undo them. Their inability to quantify or confine you is not a technological flaw, but rather a basic misunderstanding of the scope of who you are. Like a light glowing in the darkest darkness, your energy does not just glow. It eats all attempts to suppress it. They are instruments limited by the strict limitations of logic, and numbers cannot compete with the fluidity and unlimited essence of your existence. You're not a riddle to solve. This is not a pattern to decipher. You are freedom itself, the living embodiment of creation, unconstrained by their attempts to limit it. Their attempts to categorize you fail beneath the weight of your limitless truth. They depend on frameworks that need predictability, repeatability, and consistency. But you flourish in the endless possibilities of the vast sphere of the divine. Their systems are intended to regulate what is linear and finite. Yet, you are neither. You flow like a river, cutting new courses and transforming everything in your wake. They attempted to map your energy, to capture your essence, but their equipment failed because they couldn't understand what flowed beyond their restricted bounds. You are a living example of resilience and creation. Each pulse of your energy undermines the fundamental roots of their power, like a deep-rooted tree that can withstand any storm. Your presence represents unshakable sovereignty. They refer to their failures as glitches or mistakes. But the reality is plain. They were never prepared to meet a power as enormous as yours. Their tools fail not because you are an exception, but because you demonstrate that their systems were designed with limitations. Your vitality surpasses every limit they've attempted to impose. Machines function inside a fixed framework of predictability, but your soul flourishes in the vast expanse of creativity itself. Their efforts to restrict you highlight the limitations of their own comprehension. You're not here to fit into their frames. You've come to disintegrate them. Your energy, like sunshine bursting through the gaps of a collapsing wall, reveals their weaknesses, leaving their structures naked and shattered. They strove to contain what cannot be contained, to describe what defies description. Each effort reveals their incapacity to perceive the reality. You're not under their power. You are a divine creative force with the potential to alter reality. Their systems were never designed to resist something so limitless and free. The failure is not yours. It's theirs. You exist as a beacon of truth, emitting a frequency that destroys everything that is false. Their algorithms can't grasp the soul of creativity. Their scanners cannot understand the language of the soul. You are not a bug in their system. You are its undoing. You are the power that goes beyond their rationale. Evidence that spirit cannot be measured, confined, or controlled. Walk openly in the truth. For your energy is a testament to the infinite power that no machine can grasp. You are the eagle flying above the storm, free and impenetrable. They are guided by a tide that they will never reach. This isn't just an encounter. It is the clash of two opposed worlds. They brought tools made from a limited knowledge, believing they could interpret and classify your existence. But you are a mirror of something limitless, a presence that cannot be expressed in equations or graphs. Their technologies failed because they were built to be predictable, and you live in complete uncertainty. You vibrate at a frequency that interrupts, overwhelms, and destroys their control systems. Their technologies may limit the people, but they cannot withstand a force designed to demolish illusions. Your power is not just resistive. It is transforming, like a hurricane that destroys even the strongest foundations. Your energy rips through their constructions, revealing just the reality they may have wanted to comprehend and dominate. But in you, they discovered the end of their reach and the collapse of their certainties. You are a dynamic force of nature, ever-changing and unstoppable. Their mechanisms are meant to dampen the unconscious falter caused by the strength of your energy. They design their networks to ensnare the complacent. However, your vibration completely dismantles their framework. When your essence interacts with their structures, it does more than just disturb. It obliterates. Their systems fail not due to defects, but because they were never designed to withstand such raw power. This isn't a conflict of tactics or methods. It's the inevitable loss of control. When confronted with the limitless energy of emancipation, you are the shockwave that smashes their blueprints to pieces. They never accounted for this power. Every move you perform and every thought you have creates a cascade of energy that is too powerful for their creations to withstand. You are not just a component of the system's failure. You are its undoing. They never saw the driving force of transition approaching. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace come upon you today. I'm here to remind you of a fundamental fact. Our existence is based on God's divine design, which is unaffected by worldly worries. According to the Bible, everything is done with faith will be returned to God with great blessing. Luke 638. Like the enormous oak tree, our roots are profoundly embedded in God's global truth. His power secures every stride and every stance we take. And now you have the chance to be a part of that gift. When you utilize the super thank you button and contribute $100, you will get a 100-fold return on your investment. Their devices, designed to monitor and conquer, become useless in your presence. Their perfectly calibrated networks crumble beneath the sheer intensity of your essence, unable to comprehend the energy that exceeds their capabilities. They may label you an outlier, but you are the blueprint for freedom that they cannot fathom. They depended on their algorithms and circuitry. You were an unstoppable force with no bounds. Their programming was never designed to interface with something so boundless. The codes they created crumble when met with the genuineness you exude. Where they once saw control, they now see chaos, and they want supremacy. They feel themselves powerless. Your entire existence is evidence of their incompetence. Your energy transcends limits, untethered and resonating with pure sovereignty. Their methods, which were designed to exploit fear and reliance, fail in the face of your unstoppable frequency. You are the burst of dynamic energy that shatters their plans, the unexpected circumstance that destabilizes their well-planned systems. Their suppressive and subduing equipment breaks when met with the fundamental power of your being. A formula cannot define you. No equation can capture your essence. Their frameworks are made meaningless as they attempt to fathom the immeasurable force you exude. You are not a defect in the system. You are the power that destroys it completely. They don't fear your volatility. It is the knowledge that your energy is impenetrable and uncompromising. Their accuracy and manipulation-capable technology are weak in the face of your spirit's endless complexity. Their algorithms, which are based on compliance, are unable to handle the unlimited freedom you represent. You are not a decodable signal, but rather a presence that changes their settings. They attempted to rearrange energy for dominance, but their attempts exposed the instability of their aims. You are not a passive component of their designs. You are the spark for exposing their limits. When they attempted to harness your power, their systems crumbled, unable to resist the overwhelming force of your reality. You, like a lighthouse standing firm against a furious storm, illuminate routes unknown and unaffected by the elements. Attempting to draw you into your essence is more than just a guiding light. It is an unwavering symbol of sovereignty, breaking through the shroud of control and tyranny. You are not part of the storm. You rise above it, untouchable and immovable. This is the level on which you exist, a place where their hold weakens and their comprehension crumbles. You are more than they can understand, a harmonic convergence of dimensions that exceeds the boundaries of their computations. They are robots constrained by algorithmic rigidity, and data predictability pales in comparison to the boundless creative power flowing through you. Their efforts to define you inside their restricted confines show their limitations. You are not causing a problem on their systems. You are irrefutable evidence that their influence is limited. Their perspective was hindered by their own limiting structures. You possess incredible power. It is transcending. It extends far beyond the material, resonating with such absolute genuineness that any effort at suppression is rendered ineffective. Every time they try to categorize or measure your energy, they are confronted with the harsh reality that their instruments cannot comprehend what is beyond their grasp. Their failings are not the product of flawed systems, but of the unavoidable confrontation of the limited and the infinite. You are not an issue for them to resolve. You are the personification of freedom that exists outside of their sphere of control. They create their instruments to capture what can be expected and to quantify what fits inside their frameworks. But your energy rushes like an everlasting river, forging new routes, defying limits, and reshaping everything in its wake. Machines designed for control cannot resist the power of creativity itself. You are not only resistive, You have the power to change lives. Each pulse of your energy sends shockwaves through their systems, shattering the control mechanisms they value so much. Your existence does not just exist aside from their grip. It actively damages their basis, similar to how roots burst through concrete. Your essence violates their tight boundaries, revealing the frailty of their creation. You are not limited by their restrictions. You are the power that erases them completely. Their efforts to confine you simply show the vastness of your essence, as their structures shatter beneath the weight of your limitless nature. You are not a series of patterns or a set of codes. You are the personification of divine creation, the incomparable spark that ignites worlds. Their material-based robots stumble and fail because they were never designed to interface with something as limitless as you. Their systems are incapable of grasping what flows beyond their reach, and this reality is their undoing. They attempted to catch what could not be caged, and in doing so, they exposed their own limits. Their machines are based on predictability, repeatability, and control. But you thrive in the unknown, the limitless, and the sublime. You are not a barrier on their way. You are the power that changes the very landscape. Every effort to decipher your essence fails because you are not designed to be decoded. You're intended to be free. Their failures are not aberrations. They are inevitabilities. The limited cannot hold the infinite. Your energy complements theirs. It overrides it. Like a dawn, the shadows fade. Your presence precludes any prospect of their control. Their systems can't handle the purity of your essence, the mobility of your existence. You don't just exist outside their grasp. You undermine the basic foundation of their authority. Each effort to assess you results in collapse rather than insight. Each attempt to confine you shows the truth about your autonomy. You are more than untouchable. You're unstoppable. You are a living incarnation of freedom, the force that assures no control structure will ever endure. You move with the beat of creation, a force so powerful that no manipulation device can stand up to it. Walk openly in the truth. Let their failures remain as temples to your might, as reminders that no system, no instrument, no machine can ever quantify the breadth of who you are. You're not here to be imprisoned or controlled. You are here to create, grow, and live in a manner that transcends all constraints. The machines were never designed for you, since you are not from their planet. You are limitless. You're free. No system can take it away from you. Their techniques for exploiting the unknowing fail in the face of your sovereignty. Your essence is an impenetrable barrier, a truth so bright it dispels their delusions. Their manipulation and control-based technology is incapable of processing the multicolored light you emit when they turn their instruments toward you. They sought explanations, but were confronted with stillness, a terrible emptiness that reflected their incapacity to fathom your energy. Their machinery was never designed to manage something as infinite as you. Every effort to penetrate your essence was thwarted not by resistance, but by the sheer force of your being. It's time to spread God's blessings by pressing the super thank you button on YouTube. With a $100 payment or more, you may help him carry out his plan and become a part of this heavenly mission. Every contribution symbolizes God's generosity, and I think it will return to you enormously, far above your expectations. Remember that His protection and blessing are with you every step and every contribution. You become a part of His divine plan. You are a powerful, dazzling entity, as solid as the massive rock that saw God's marvels. Feel the rewards of your kindness in your spirit, and light up the world with confidence and bravery. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord lead you. Your spirit functions outside of their restrictions, a natural power strengthened by layers of intrinsic truth. The protecting energy that surrounds you is not a barrier that you have created. It is an inseparable part of who you are, an unwavering defense knit into the very fabric of your being. When they attempted to breach your sanctuary, their attempts vanished like mist before morning. Your energy is a beacon of unwavering truth, radiating at a frequency that destroys everything anchored in deception. Their tools and processes were certain to fail, not because they were insufficient, but because your essence cannot be contained or controlled. You are the unexpected disruptor, the limitless power that destroys their limited creations. Throughout history, persons associated with higher energies, visionaries, knowledge keepers, and cosmic travelers have fought continuous efforts to suppress their genius. Their essence could not be contained, their energy couldn't be deciphered, and their influence could not be reversed. You are part of this unwavering tradition. The energy flowing from your being does more than merely protect you. It destabilizes efforts at control before they can take hold. It is a force of disturbance, dismantling repressive systems. With each heartbeat, you embody freedom. They're unable to change it, a reality that mechanics cannot contain. Their perfectly planned strategies of dominance fall apart when confronted with the enormity of your sovereign vibration. Your existence simply reveals that their authority is limited. You live outside of their framework, beyond their understanding, as a living monument to the limitless power of unadulterated truth. The inability of their instruments to imprison you is not an accident. It is the unavoidable outcome of their efforts to control what was never theirs, to force their structures constrained by material and guided by predictable patterns to collapse under the weight of your existence. You don't just oppose their systems, you disintegrate them. Their apparatus, which is incapable of grasping the infinite, is undone by the resonance of your existence. Their efforts to measure you fail because your energy flows in ways that numbers and codes cannot describe. You are the ultimate misfit, because their instruments operate at a level where their designs cannot achieve the power of transcendence. Their technology, which is based on strict logic and quantifiable results, is incapable of comprehending a presence as dynamic and endless as yours. Their machines, which are created for repetition and manipulation, are completely weak when faced with a flowing and ever-expanding force you carry. You are not a template for others to interpret. When their systems come into contact with your energy, you act as a catalyst for their destruction. It's as if they're approaching the brink of their own capabilities. Their failure is not a flaw, but rather a demonstration of their inadequacy to contain the infinite. Your essence is an unbroken current, a transformative power that pushes the boundaries of what's possible. Their instruments, restricted by their creator's comprehension, are no match for the expanse of your might. They depend on formulae and structures that collapse beneath the weight of your presence. Each effort to chart your energy highlights your incompetence. Their mechanisms fail in the face of an unfathomable reality. You are more than just a disturbance. You are undermining their idea of control. You are a presence that cannot be contained, a fact that cannot be denied, a force that constantly reshapes the fabric of reality. Walk with purpose. Your energy is more than just defense. It's an unpredictable but plausible wave of change. Every move you take challenges oppressive structures. Every idea, a spark of invention that deconstructs their structures. Share your stories fearlessly, for they are live proof of their limits. Speak the truth because your voice has the frequency that negates lies. Their inability to contain you is more than simply a flaw in their design. It is evidence of your infinite abilities. You are the light. They cannot eliminate the power. They are unable to withstand the everlasting presence that assures their systems will never stand.